Welcome back, folks, to the random video blog where I, Graham G.S. Matthews, give my rambling thoughts in the wrestling world, share some stories, etc., etc. And I originally had something set up for today to talk about. I'm going to Northeast Wrestling tonight in Waterbury, Connecticut, so if you're in the area, definitely go. It's their huge 20-year anniversary, and I probably would talk about that, my grand 6 years that I've been at Northeast Wrestling, one of the greatest indie promotions, not only in the Northeast, but ever. Those guys are great. And tonight I'll be meeting the Hardy Boys. I've already met Matt a couple times, of course. I've done a video here in the video blog about it a couple months ago. But yeah, the Hardy Boys will be there. Rey Mysterio, Bret Hart, who I'm very excited to meet if I can meet. Bobby Lashley, the Boogeyman, Eddie Edwards, who I also ran into a couple weeks ago around my school, which is pretty cool, in the Salem area here in Massachusetts. But whole slew of stars. Can't wait to be there. It's going to be an exciting night in Waterbury, Connecticut. But what I do want to talk about today is November 13th, 2015, of course, the 10-year anniversary of Eddie Guerrero's passing. Now, I can't talk about him like I watched him wrestle, like I knew him, of course. I didn't, obviously. I started watching wrestling in 2008, but I thought I'd be remiss if I did not mention or at least briefly talk about Eddie Guerrero being one of the greatest of all time on the 10-year anniversary of his passing, and it just so happens to fall on a Friday, so it would have been terrible had I not talked about it in today's video blog. So Eddie Guerrero, I mean, at the time of his passing, a huge shocker to the system. Like I said, one of the greatest of all time, and I like to put him and Owen Hart in the same category. Granted, Eddie did get his big moment of becoming WWE champion. But two guys that I watch in watching old content on the WWE network, two guys that I watch and I just see greatness in every single match they're involved in, whether it's a tag team match, a mid-card match, a comedy match, a main event title match, whatever those guys were involved in, they knocked it out of the park. And of course, they were taken from us too soon. Eddie Guerrero was the complete package. Some will argue, and rightfully so, the greatest of all time. One of, if not the single greatest performer in wrestling history. Amazing wrestler, a great mic worker, great character development. He was allowed to be very vulnerable on WWE TV and bringing out his demons and talking about that during his feud with Rey Mysterio in 2005 and all the other classic feuds. And just an amazing wrestler that his legacy will be remembered for just that, for being one of the greatest showmen of all time, having just such amazing showmanship as a professional wrestler in WWE and everywhere else he worked, ECW, WCW, all the indies and whatnot, Mexican wrestling. I mean, I wish I could say more, but I just wasn't around for when he was alive, when he was, still wrestling in WWE, and I so wish I was. I'm so glad I started watching when I did, but at the same time, I watch these old pay-per-views in the network that I review and whatnot, and whatever else, and I just watch these pay-per-views where all these people that just aren't with us anymore, that either just have passed away, aren't with the company or whatever, and I just say to myself, I wish I was around for that time. Even though I like the Attitude Era, which I'm not a huge fan of. I love the Attitude Era, but it's not my favorite era. That belongs to Ruthless Aggression. But anyway, though, yeah, I just watched some of those pay-per-views, and just to be a part of those crowds during those specific moments, but especially when Eddie Guerrero won the WWE Championship and No Way Out 2004 against Brock Lesnar. Great moment, great match. Eddie Guerrero gets to win the big one at last and reign as WWE Champion for a couple months on SmackDown in 2004. My favorite Eddie Guerrero match and or feud, I mean, like I've said before here, time and time again on the channel, love the year of 2005. I thought they had some amazing feuds, both on Raw and SmackDown. Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio being one of them. Just the matches they had, the moments they created, how they could take something so silly, like the custody of Dominic, which would be like a soap opera-like storyline. And newsflash, wrestling is kind of like a soap opera. But still, they took a storyline that you would think wouldn't work in any other context, but with the right players, it did. You had two great wrestlers. Eddie Guerrero was just so frustrated that he could not beat Rey Mysterio, and went to any great lengths that he could to finally beat his former friend, and the two had, like I said, some great matches for almost all of 2005. So that would probably be my favorite Eddie Guerrero feud that I've seen on the WWE Network, but there's so many others from, like I said, his days in ECW, WCW, WWE, WWF with the Radicals and Los Guerreros. I mean, that was another great match, the three-way match from Survivor Series 2002. Between those guys, Benoit and Angle, and Edge and Rey Mysterio, the SmackDown 6. He will always be remembered for that. But just some great memories. I didn't really want to spend too much time talking about it just because I don't have many memories because I wasn't around back then. But I do want to pay tribute to Eddie Guerrero in today's video blog. And I got to keep it brief anyway. I'm on my way out to Waterbury in a couple more hours, which should be a great show. But anyway, guys, I would love to hear your favorite memories, your fondest memories, matches, and moments of the one, the only Viva Raza, Eddie Guerrero, in today's video blog in the comments section, on Twitter at Restaurant, on Facebook at Graham Jason Matthews. You guys know where to find me. All the links are down below in the description box. But yeah, I would love to know what your favorite moments and matches are of Eddie Guerrero. It would be great. I'm filming this a couple days in advance. I'm filming this, I'm filming this a couple hours in advance before this goes up on Friday morning. And I don't know if WWE will be doing anything. I don't think they will be, unfortunately. But you can check out Jericho's podcast today, Talk is Jericho. I believe it's him, Dean Malenko, and Chavo talking about Eddie on their podcast, which is awesome. So definitely check that out. But yeah, just be sure to check out the Eddie Guerrero. Do they have an Eddie Guerrero DVD? I feel like they do. Viva La Raza. I feel like it came out like 2008 or something like that. Don't know if it's in the network, but it probably is. But yeah, just spend today celebrating the life and legacy of Eddie Guerrero by watching some of his greatest stuff on the WWE network and, you know, and whatever else. Celebrating the greatness, the legendary status that was Eddie Guerrero. So that's all I got for you guys today. I wanted to keep it short and sweet. I'm off to Northeast Wrestling tonight, so I'm looking forward to a great night. Maybe I'll be talking about that next week in the video blog. Who knows? I really just come up with the ideas for these videos on the seat of my pants every single week. So, but now that the channel's back up and running, I got my new laptop going again. So I got my new laptop up and running as well. New channels, new videos will be up every single day going forward for the foreseeable future. But like I said, again, guys, go ahead, go celebrate the life and legacy of Eddie Guerrero. Would love to know your favorite matches and moments in the comment section below. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'm Graham Jason Matthews, and I'll catch you guys down the road.